Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going today? A little bit of different video for you today here on the In the Loop channel as we're reaching the end of the year. And normally at the end of the year, you like to look back. And while 2020 will be nobody's favorite year, we did get the chance to do a lot of things and go on a lot of adventures. This year, I went on 20 different trips. Molly joined me for about 18 of them.
Yes, 18.
And so in this video here, we're going to look back and sort of rank the trips, rank them from worst to best. And I made my list, Molly made her list, we combined the two together, and that's how we got to this point of all the trips we went on in 2020 ranked from worst to best. And we're going to start off, just for the sake of simplicity, with the two trips that I went on without you before we could get rolling into the meat of the content. And so at number 20, I had my trip to Carowinds, which I just took about a month ago, headed up there on opening weekend, which was bizarrely in November, December, and was for their Holiday in the Park event called A Taste of Winterfest. And it was a good trip, quick trip, up and back in maybe 36 hours. Hyde met me up there, so that was fun. Got to ride Copperhead Strike for the first time. Never been on that roller coaster before. They had a lot of fun. It was fun doing the tasting lanyard. Anytime you get to do something like that, it's a good time. And we got to see Santa riding around the park in a convertible. Not a sleigh, but a convertible. All right, and then number 19 comes in my trip to Nashville. Another one of these very quick trips. Got some cheap airfare. Went up there for about 24 hours. And the main cause of that, I'd never been to Beach Bend Park. And I wanted to ride the Kentucky Rumbler. And actually, that park was nicer than I thought it would be. The dark ride, really cool. Very, very messed up dark ride for that park. And I got to ride Michael Jackson's Sea Dragon ride from the Neverland Ranch. Also went on an underwater cave tour. Got some White Castle. And went to the zoo. So that was another very quick trip. All right, so let's get into the meat of the conversation here. Coming in at number 18, the trip we both had ranked dead last, surprisingly. There was not a lot of agreement on our list, but this one came in dead last for both of us. And this is when we went to Indiana back over the summer.
Yes, not my favorite trip. The park was very odd.
Yes, the main reason to go into this trip was Indiana Beach came back from the dead.
Yes, I did like how the skylift went through the whole park.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to Indiana Beach. It's very unique. The skylift's awesome. The walk through haunted house.
The carpfish?
Yes, the carpfish, who were some reason drowning in trash, which is rather disgusting.
Yeah.
Cornball Express is a wonderful ride. We also went to the Indianapolis Zoo on that trip, which is a very nice little zoo. I was bummed their sky ride is closed.
Yes.
That was a bummer. But it's still a pretty nice zoo. Everything, it wasn't the biggest zoo, but everything they had was really good quality. And we got some local food. For me, the highlight of the trip was probably the brewery we went to in Indianapolis, as it's like my favorite craft brewery we went to, maybe ever, as it was a craft brewery / dog park.
You were in love and you wanted to stay there for forever.
It was so wonderful. There were so many dogs. A Labrador just came over and decided to be my friend.
While drinking beer.
Yes, it was so great. And not only that, the beer was good, and a portion of the proceeds of that brewery went to, animal charities. So that was really great. All right, moving on to number 17 is our trip up to Cedar Point over the summer. Another very quick trip here. This was in and out in about 24 hours. And it was weird, too, because normally Cedar Point is always like a multi-day destination or a really long day. And now with the ongoing global health situation, it was one day and the park was open for like 8 hours.
It was a very fast trip. That's why it was kind of low on my end. Very fast trip. And then Melt was kind of disappointment with how slow the service was.
Yeah, and the food was just sort of okay as well, unfortunately. But from a theme park and ride standpoint, it was a good day. We got on tons of roller coasters, got to relax, had some drinks. So we had friends from Florida that were there too, so we got to meet up with them.
That we hadn't seen for months.
Yeah, so we met up for them for a bit, and it was a good day at Cedar Point. But again, very quick. Number 16 was our trip up to Hershey Park in that area. And I love Hershey Park. I could go to Hershey Park every single year. Obviously, Hershey new this year was their big new front gate entrance and Candemonium. So that was a major, major expansion for them. And we did a couple other things in town. We went to the Hershey Story Museum, which I had never done before, which I thought was pretty nice. It was very well done.
We made chocolate bars and you spilled your...
Not very talented at building chocolate bars there at the Hershey Story Museum. We also, once we got into town in Philadelphia, we went and did the classic cheesecake challenge and went to Pat's and Gino's, which...
I found it interesting because you like Gino's better and I like Pat's better.
Yep. And that's generally how it goes. One person likes one better. I'm sure the comment section will tell us, oh, those are the worst two in town. Why'd you go there? Well, they're famous ones. That's why we went there.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody probably is commenting that right now. All right, and let's see, what else do we do on that trip? Also, I liked how Hershey kind of grew up a little bit. You had Permanente Brothers, which is a wonderful overstuffed sandwiches right outside the park, and Trogues Brewery as well. So I like that there's kind of some things to do in Hershey, like after the park closes.
I did really like Trogues Brewery. Yeah. That was cool, and it had a massive selection.
Yeah, and then the cool store, cool merchandise. It was overall a really good time, which brings us up to our 15th ranked trip of the year, and that was our sailing on the Bahamas Paradise cruise ship. Now, if you're not familiar with the Bahamas Paradise cruise line, we were on their Grand Celebration ship. It's a very small cruise ship that does nothing but 2-night cruises from the port of West Palm Beach here in Florida, typically referred to as like the Groupon cruise, and something that I'm not even sure is still in business. Yeah. I know this, out of all the trips we went on from an in-the-loop business perspective, this was our worst investment, as this ship sailed for about another month and now has been sold and scrapped.
It was very interesting because it was a very old ship, and you got 2 different type of key cards.
Oh, it was so bizarre.
You got an old school one with the holes in it, and then you got your charging card. The drinks, though, man, you got strong drinks.
If you went to the right bartender, some bartenders you went to never order a drink from Wilfred. No, never order a drink from him. but some of them were ridiculously pungent. Like, you had to kind of choke it down. There was also a really good barbecue lunch meal there. Mm-hmm. The shows were better than expected. The piano guy was great. He was an old Disney guy who worked at like lots of Disney parks around the world. And we were like the only people at the piano bar, so he did nothing but play like Disney music for us. It was awesome. So overall, the trip was a lot of fun. But yeah, a little older, definitely the older ship. And now it's extinct. All right, coming in at number 14 was our most recent trip, and that was going to Dallas, Texas for a couple days.
With the baby lions at the zoo. They were so cute.
Yeah, so we watched them for probably, I would say, about a good hour of that day we were at the zoo.
Well, it also had helped that there was a beer stand right next to the baby lions.
Yeah, it's got some Shiner Holiday Cheer beer and some other good stuff as well. But those were probably the main reason for the trip, and they were really, really adorable. We also went to Six Flags Over Texas Holiday in the Park, which was a good time. I thought they did a really good job with their holiday event. Impressed with the Six Flags holiday event with the lights, the entertainment, stuff to do, makeover to the indoor roller coaster. And so that was a pretty fun event. Also got some really good food. Right when we got in, we went to the Pecan Lodge for barbecue, a famous Dallas barbecue place. Some of the best brisket I've had in my entire life.
Yeah, that brisket, so delicious.
And I would say also one weird thing about this trip was, so Dallas, based on the ongoing global health situation, had shut down all bars. And then but there were still a lot of bars open, so we were confused. And we realized when we walked into a bar, you order a beer, and you're given some sort of a snack or a treat, whether it be like a bag of chips or a candy or something like that. And I'm like, this was very strange. I liked it because I got treats, but it was strange.
Also, another strange thing is we went to art
museum
that was in a parking garage. Very, very odd.
Yes, when you're talking about things that you won't see again, probably a drive-through immersive art exhibit. And then I think the biggest surprise of the trip, the aquarium we went to, was really nice.
Yeah.
That was much more of like an indoor rainforest zoo than an aquarium, but the theming level, the design, the animals, multiple types of sloths, multiple types of penguins. So you're not going to get a complaint from me on that one.
No, the sloths, you could watch them all day. But I found it interesting because there wasn't many fish tanks. It was only on the bottom 2 floors out of 6, I think. But it was a good trip.
Yes, coming in at number 13 was our trip up to the Kalahari Resort in Sandusky, Ohio. And this is something I had been to, but a long time ago. Molly had never been to a Kalahari. And we're kind of trying to fill the void in our trip itineraries that was sort of like a cruise ship. And we figured going to one of these mega resorts, that kind of made sense.
Yes, I actually liked the Sandusky one. I like the layout of just the lobby better. I thought I liked how there was 2 different mini golfs, indoors and outdoors. And then, of course, the swim out pool bar, adults only, way bigger.
Yeah, that was definitely a positive. Also, going to a place like that, I think we went on like a Thursday. Mm-hmm. So there's nobody there, no lines for the slides, nothing like that. And that was a really fun time. Good to get back to one of those. And then number 12 is a road trip kind of thing when we went down to Key West last month. And this was pretty much 100% a booze vacation.
I did like the drive to Key West.
Yeah.
The drive to Key West is very relaxing. And then with this trip, I didn't feel like we had to go, go, go. A lot of our trips are planned of we have to be here at a certain time. Well, this one, we just got up and went to a bar.
And then you decided you were too sick for the night before of drinking and went to take a nap, where I continued.
Which is very unusual. Usually it's the opposite on cruise ships.
But yeah, Key West was, it's such a blast. It's such a cool, it's one of my favorite drinking towns in the country. It's so relaxed, got a really cool vibe. There's live music and different types of live music everywhere. Any kind of bar you could want and drinks you could find, you'll find it there in Key West. From craft breweries to tourist trap kind of junk to little dive bars to bars that have been there for 150 years. They've got all sorts of stuff. Did you have a favorite bar?
Ooh. I like what was it called? Parrot?
A Green Parrot?
Green Parrot.
Yeah, I don't know. Man. Looking back on it, thinking about it, it might have been that First Flight Brewery. I love the beer, and I love the happy hour and the cool uniqueness of it.
The cocktail place was also really cool.
Yes, that was indeed. All right, moving on. Our number 11 trip, another one from the fall, and that's when we went to Branson, Missouri. Went up there for about 48 hours. And we went up to do a couple of different things. We went to Silver Dollar City's Harvest Festival, which was, I don't think I've ever had that much, I don't want to say bad food, but that much
unhealthy.
Unhealthy food, where it's just like I'm eating snack cakes all day.
But that caramel apple cinnamon bread.
Yeah.
And the pumpkin funnel cake. It was so good.
Yeah, there were some top-notch food items there. Good to get back to Silver Dollar City. I enjoyed their new ride for this year. I'm not really a water ride guy, but I thought the Mystic River Falls was an excellent ride.
It was fascinating to watch.
Yeah, the way they do that tower was really, really cool. And we did a bunch of other fun stuff in Branson, too. We went on a flying theater. We went to the Wild World Zoo and Aquarium, where we got attacked by lemurs.
And we went in the dingo pen.
And also, we went to the Top of the Rock, which is one of the more unique tourist attractions we did this year, where you get to go in a golf cart and then drive around a cave, and there's a bar in the cave, and there's waterfalls.
And I learned that he should not be driving the golf carts. Very dangerous with his quick turns. But I really enjoyed it. It was fun and very, very different for us.
Yeah, I like that trip had a bunch of different things, a very different array of tourism type attractions. We made it into the top 10, and number 10 was our fall road trip. And this was a road trip we took to do a couple different things. Started out by, we met up with our buddy Hyde over in the Atlanta area to go to Hollow Fest at Six Flags Over Georgia.
Which I was really impressed with their decorations.
Yeah.
I loved all the little pumpkins in front.
Yeah, the decorations were good. The highlight, I think, for me was the Magic Comedy Danger Show of Juju Bean.
Juju Bean.
I spit out part of my $12 beer. And so that was probably the highlight there. But Six Flags Over Georgia Park, that was in really good shape. I would say that was something with all of the Six Flags parks we went to this year. Impressed on pretty much every level. Between operations, all the rides were really well staffed. All the rides were open. Six Flags is definitely a park that I think is turning it around. Mm-hmm. And we went 4 different Six Flags. All of them we had a really good time. Over Georgia seemed in really good shape too. And it had good beer selection.
Yeah. Then we went to the World of Coca-Cola the next day, which I always went. I grew up in Atlanta, so I went there probably once a year at least. So it was nice to get back there. And
we conveniently went like 2 or 3 weeks before they opened a new exhibit. So that was some poor timing on our part.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yes, and then we headed up towards Chattanooga, which is a town I've never really been to and explored before. And we went to Rock City, which was really cool.
I was really impressed with Rock City. Growing up in North Georgia, I saw the billboards all the time for it, and I just thought it was a stupid tourist trap. But I was really impressed. It was very unique with the caves and the fairy tale caverns.
Mm-hmm. And again, when you're talking about bars, like that bar, unfortunately, was closed for our visit. But there's a part where you have a giant scenic overlook and you see 7 states, and they have like a craft beer bar right there. So I would love to hang out there for an hour or two and just, soak in the views. While in Chattanooga, we also went over to the Tennessee Aquarium, a very modern, a very nice aquarium. Again, we did a couple aquariums this year, and they were very nice. This one was really good. I mean, this is one of the top-notch, probably a top 10 aquarium in the country, I would say, easily. From there, we also went to the Chattanooga Zoo. Got some local food, and then ended up in a Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg.
Surprise!
Yes, to the surprise of no one. But yeah, we were only a couple hours away, so we figured we'd go over there, do some moonshine tasting. It was different because we were only in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg for about 24 hours on this one.
It was our quickest trip ever to Gatlinburg.
Well, yeah, of course, with it being like 10 hours away, you normally don't go up there for a day. But since we were sort of in the area, figured we go by and do some of our favorite moonshine tastings, stock up on moonshine. I don't even think I guess we went up to the top of the sky lift, which is always wonderful. Mm-hmm. Then we headed on back. Moving up to number 9 is our cruise from the winter on the Celebrity Infinity cruise ship. Celebrity a little bit more of an upscale cruise line, and the Infinity is definitely not one of their better ships. Definitely an older ship in their lineup, but Celebrity is one of my favorite cruise lines, so I really enjoyed it. The food is top notch, and the martini bar,
the bread service, and the martini bar, definitely.
The bread service at dinner is wonderful. Different types of bread, different types of dips. I
like the artwork on the Infinity too.
It was weird.
Very unique with the letters and the hot dog.
Yes, the sausage cart sculpture thing. And, it's also, I feel like, when you're on a 2-night cruise like that, on that all-you-can-drink beverage plan, it's a lot easier to beat the beverage plan in 2 days than it is if you go on like a 4 or 5 day trip. Mm-hmm. Moving along to number 8 was our trip up to Cincinnati over the summer. And this one I think I definitely had ranked higher than you did. But we did a couple things here. First of all, we got in and we went to Jungle Jim's International Market.
That was a place with the singing corn, and that was a place.
It was so weird. It's this giant, bizarre supermarket with animatronics pretty much everywhere and food from all over the world.
We got some unique breakfast items.
Yes, and I think some beers as well.
Yes.
So we did that, and that place definitely lived up to the hype. There's 2 of them. Next time in the Cincinnati area, I definitely want to check out the other one. Then we went to Kings Island. Part of the reason was to ride Orion, the new Giga Coaster. And Orion was just okay.
I like Mystic Timbers.
Yeah, but Orion, I would say, was definitely... I didn't have high expectations going in, and it definitely kind of...
a disappointment for me.
Yeah, it fell below those for myself. But overall, a pretty good day at Kings Island. Definitely a little bit more crowded than some of the parks we've been to during the ongoing global health situation, especially over the summer, as there were some longer lines there. But it was still a good time. We actually ran into a bunch of our buddies from Free RT and from the podcast and stuff like that, so that made the day more fun as well.
One of my favorite things about Kings Island is the food.
Yes.
Kings Island has really good food options.
And we do the all-you-can-eat wristband kind of thing and eat every hour and a half. Yeah, so Kings Island Day was pretty fun. Went to Sonder Brewing after there, which is a brewery right by Kings Island. They're the ones that make the Orion Giga Lager. And it's not far from the park. It's like 10 minutes from the park. And that's a cool place. So I definitely would recommend that. And then the next day, we went to one of our favorite zoos in the entire country, the Cincinnati Zoo.
Fiona the hippo.
Yes, and we both follow the Cincinnati Zoo on all their social medias, so it was fun to go there and see all of like the stars of the social media in real life. So Fiona the hippopotamus, Lucille the binturong, Isla the tamandua,
Rico the porcupine.
Yep, all these Sir Francis Bacon, the Red River hog.
That zoo is just amazing. It's a really good zoo. One of the best zoos, I think. I think it's definitely in the top 5. Yeah,
it's always a good time. And that's it. We even have a great time with some of our favorite exhibits closed, like the Night Hunters exhibit, which I love, was closed. But obviously, I don't know if it's reopened yet, but it should be reopening soon, I would imagine. All right, we're moving along. Number 7, we're going back to the Kalahari Resort, this time to the one in the Wisconsin Dells. And I'm surprised this one ranks so much higher than the other one, as they are very similar. But I think I definitely preferred that resort as opposed to the one in Sandusky. Just because it was bigger. There was a lot more things to do. They had a giant indoor theme park kind of section with a Ferris wheel and all sorts of rides and stuff like that.
Tomfoolery, which has a great name.
Yes, it was Tomfoolery's Adventure Park. You did have a big indoor water park as well. And there's some areas that I just could have stayed at forever. Like they had a great, like a bunch of different happy hours or beverage deals, which were really nice. They've got a giant bowling alley and bar area filled with bar games and all sorts of stuff. And you could drink like craft beer for $3. It was a really good, and big comfy chairs. Big comfy chairs.
And also, don't forget our nighttime dinner experience with the hanging bacon, which was delicious.
Oh, yeah. We don't normally go out for the big fancy steakhouse meal, but we did over there. And our room had a whirlpool jacuzzi tub in it, which was a treat as well. Moving on to number 6, we're going back to Ohio, and this was our trip to Columbus. Another trip that was a little on the shorter side, probably about 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer than 24 hours. But we went up there with the big goal of going to the Columbus Zoo, which we've always heard great things about. It's supposed to be world class, so something we always wanted to try. We found a good flight, so we went and we did it, and it was amazing. This zoo, holy cow, what a zoo this place was.
They had almost every type of animal that you could think of. The exhibits were top-notch and very detailed and themed exhibits. It was really incredible zoo.
Yes, and man, it was so nice. And that we didn't even ride the roller coaster. The roller coaster was closed the day we were there.
We got to go back now.
Yeah, but man, what a zoo that is. It's probably my second favorite zoo in the country. I would say for me it's San Diego, and then probably Columbus. And then one thing that we went to there was they had a water park attached to the zoo, and we went for they had for some reason like a bonus evening, and they had the greatest invention in the history of water parks.
I don't know why more theme park or water parks do not do this. It is an adult-only lazy river with a swim-up bar, and your flotations have a cup holder. It was great. We need to get on this, Orlando.
Yeah, it is criminal that we have 5 water parks in the Orlando area, and not one of them has a booze lazy river. We even have one at a Margaritaville-themed resort. Come on. But that is like the most relaxing thing ever. That place was wonderful. The rest of the water park, kind of okay. That night we went to a Real Melt to get a meal. The next day, another highlight of the trip, we went to Otherworld, which is the first time Molly and I have ever done one of these new style of immersive art walkthrough experiences. It was similar to like a Meow Wolf, short of that, but this place was really neat, really weird, lots of exploring.
I liked how interactive it was with some exhibits. You played drums, or they had projections that if you touched it did something, and then the exploration, you didn't know where the next room was going to lead, or you climbed into a giant narwhal.
Yeah, and then boom, you're in a different area. It was really unique, really awesome, so creative, so different. All right, moving in, we've made it to the top 5, and we're going back to the cruise ship, this time for our cruise on the MSC Divina earlier this year. And this was our third time on MSC Cruise Line?
Yes.
Third time, okay.
Third time.
Second time. Second time. Second time on MSC. And this is the first time we went to their private island resort, which was really nice. A pretty new private island, too, their Ocean Cay Marine Reserve.
Yeah, I think it opened at the end of 2019, I think they opened. But the private island was really nice. It has a projection show at night on the lighthouse, which I really enjoyed.
And I was bummed we didn't get to stay there longer. Some cruises you could do like an overnight on Ocean Cay, and they do a big like bonfire beach DJ party, which would have been really cool. The ship overall was there was some different parts, like they had a really good craft beer bar, and my favorite part of the ship was they have a sports bar with free snacks. So you could sit down and you could order like mozzarella sticks or buffalo wings and stuff like that.
Or just go with the pizza at the buffet, because it's the best pizza on sea.
Yeah, indeed, it probably is the best pizza on the sea. Number 4, we're going with our trip to Southern California and the Los Angeles area from about February. We flew in to one of the weirder ones. I don't even remember which airport we flew into.
I don't remember.
Okay, well that makes for bad audio, but it was one we haven't been to before. It is the one the Young Bucks fly in and out of on Being the Elite. That is how I remembered which airport we were in. Alrighty, I'm sure the comment section somebody will tell me. So we did that. We went to Disneyland for a day, which was, Disneyland's always wonderful. And I love Disneyland. Disneyland is my favorite theme park I've ever been to. So any excuse to go to Disneyland, I don't even really need one.
No, I agree. Disneyland is amazing. And no matter if it's a day or 2 days, I love going to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm. After that, we drove up to Magic Mountain area, and the next day we went to Six Flags Magic Mountain and had easily the best day ever at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Every ride was open, and there were no lines. It was amazing.
I was shocked. I figured something was gonna get closed, and every time we walked up to a ride, I was like, "Okay, this is gonna be the closed ride." No, everything was open.
Yeah, it was really, really wild, and no lines, including the new West Coast Racers roller coaster, which was really fun. I liked that a lot. That was a really fun ride. I would love to see more Six Flags parks build something like that, or more parks anywhere. I love any ride with like a dueling racing element, and then especially that one where you get to go on like both tracks, a little pit stop kind of thing in between. Cool queue too. The queue was really well done.
Yeah, I was impressed with the theming level for Six Flags.
After that, we had a really fun evening because that night we got a hotel in the Hollywood area and kind of did like downtown LA bars and tourist trap stuff, including one of the biggest surprises of that trip for me. We went to the Funko Pop store, and this thing was so cool. It was honestly, it was more of like an Instagram museum than a store, but it was amazing. Giant figures everywhere of like anything you could imagine, from Disney characters to cereal creatures, Marvel, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Stranger Things, like so many giant characters.
We also went to quite a few unique bars. We went to Speakeasy, where the drink tasted like fruit punch. It was great. And then we went
that was the 70s themed one.
Yeah, that was the 70s. I think it's Good Time Davies, I think it was called. Yeah. And then we went to the Beetle House.
Oh, that was weird.
It was a themed entrance where they had the Joker like tell you a little story and do a magic check before you entered the bar, and then they had a Night Before Christmas type themed, and they had Beetlejuice playing on the TV.
All sorts of Tim Burton stuff.
Yeah, and the drink was really good too.
Yeah, we got some sort of like big bubbling fishbowl type drink. Oh man, we ended the night at after a couple beers at Fat Sal's Deli, a famous drunk food, crazy stacked sandwich kind of location.
It was delicious.
Yes, I imagine anything would be delicious at that time of the drunkenness, but it was indeed very, very tasty. The next day, we went to the LA Zoo, which was a solid zoo. Mm-hmm. Nothing too good, nothing too bad, kind of very middle of the road. We did as big Disney dorks. We went over to, since the zoo was in Griffith Park, we went and rode the Griffith Park Carousel, the famous, according to the fable, the inspiration for Disneyland.
Yeah, what I liked most about this trip was it was theme parks and it was exploring the city and culture based, and then we also had a zoo, which are all my favorite things and very different trip. We went to the Griffith Observatory.
Oh, that was cool, yeah.
And then we ended at the Broad Museum.
That was weird. That was weird art.
Yes. And then we walked around the Disney Orchestra. What is it called?
Oh, yeah, like the Walt Disney Concert Hall.
Yeah, the concert hall.
We rode the Angel's Flight funicular.
Yeah, it was a very unique trip with all different aspects of things that we like to do in trips.
Yeah, I would say the next one up when we come in at number 3 is kind of a similar trip here, and that was our trip to San Antonio back in July. Similar idea, but way hotter. First of all, guys, don't go to Texas in the middle of the summer. That was a bad idea.
It was like July, I think, when we went.
June or July.
I had never been to San Antonio, and this was one city that I really wanted to go to.
And I guess it lived up to the hype if it made it up to our number 3 on our rankings.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I just love the architecture and the culture and
the Riverwalk.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Taking a drink on a boat. So, the Alamo, a little disappointing though. Yeah. Just a little. Yeah,
it's definitely one of the more disappointing kind of major tourism emblems. But that trip was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good food. That's I think what comes to mind first.
Oh, the burnt end sandwich.
It might have been the best sandwich I've ever had in my entire life. We also got that insane burrito with like the hot Cheetos in it. Mm-hmm. We got puffy tacos. We got an absurd amount of good food on that trip. Also, of course, did some theme park stuff as we went to Six Flags and SeaWorld San Antonio.
I was impressed with Six Flags.
Yeah, you had never been there before.
No, I had never been there, and I love like the wall.
The quarry wall.
Quarry wall. Yes, it was very unique. Six Flags.
Yeah, and they did the big nighttime show, which was a lot of fun with the laser and fire and fireworks and all that kind of thing. And we went to SeaWorld as well. SeaWorld was, I think, the one park we went to during the ongoing global health situation where we're like, man, they are losing all kinds of money, as there was no one there. Like, plenty of times we're like the only people on the midway, the only people on the rides. It was so quiet.
I enjoyed this Texas Stingray.
Oh, Texas Stingray was all. That surpassed expectations. Where we talked like Orion fell below it. Texas Stingray, I love that ride. That was a wonderful, wonderful roller coaster. All right, and that pretty much will do it for the San Antonio trip. I'm trying to think. It was mostly.
Yeah.
We did a lot of city exploring kind of stuff. We went up to the Tower of Americas for a wonderful happy hour. Mm-hmm. A lot of time drinking on the Riverwalk and doing the boat tour.
Went to the Wax Museum.
Went to the Wax Museum. I was kind of drunk and fell down some stairs. Don't recommend that.
But I love the city, and I do want to go back. Definitely not during the summer, but I would love to go back to that city.
Yes. All right. Moving into the top two. Number 2 on the list, it was our cruise on the Mariner of the Seas from right at the start of the year. This was back in January. And the Mariner of the Seas, really nice ship. You've got it's one of the ships with the Royal Promenade, so you get the big giant indoor atrium walkthrough thing. It has a tiki bar on board. It's got a great sports bar on board.
The bamboo room.
Yep, the bamboo room.
Where you can drink a drink out of a plastic cup.
Yeah, one of your tiki drinks came in a plastic bag.
Yep.
But yeah, give me an all-you-can-drink plan with a sports bar and a tiki bar. I'm sold. You also got a really good English pub on the boat.
I think this class of ships for Royal Caribbean is one of my favorite classes. Just the amount of things that you can do with the skating, and it never feels too crowded.
When ice skating, and nobody hurt themselves?
Yeah, that was impressive. Laser tag, which I stink at laser tag, and I was not last. I think I was second to last.
You probably beat some toddler.
No, it was the mother.
All right. And I love the amount of entertainment you get on ships like that, too, where you get so many musical acts, and you get, there might be a street party, there might be a main theater show, there might be an ice show, there might be a deck party. Like, there's so much different things. And, of course, the cruise stops at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which is my favorite of the cruise ship private islands. The big giant Oasis pool and swim-up bar, the snack shack. Oh, it has so much fun. The really good guitar player that plays in the other bar.
Normally.
Yeah, the floating bar. The buffets are normally top-notch.
The mozzarella sticks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that probably, between the nice ship and the private island destination, that made that one number 2. And number 1, you probably could have guessed this, but it was our big giant road trip that we took while we were still both furloughed from our jobs.
Which we would never have done
No.
if it was not for the global situation. But I loved it because we didn't have any plans. We just got in the car and just started driving.
Yeah, and this was something like probably like we were both furloughed towards the end of March, right? And this is something I was started like popped in my mind towards the end of April. Like, well, once things start opening and we don't have jobs anyway, we could do a road trip.
And we did in the end of May. We hopped in the car.
Yeah. And this was really fun. We didn't know where we were going or how long we were going for. We just knew, like, all right, pack lots of clothes. We don't know when we're coming back. And kind of explore the country and see some stuff. And see some stuff we did. We started off by going up the Florida Panhandle. So we stopped in Panama City Beach and Destin, Florida. And both of those, kind of those are some of the bigger drinking towns of the trip.
Yes. I think I like Panama a little bit better.
Panama definitely has more attractions.
Yeah.
We went to the cool small zoo. I like that a lot. We went to, we did a Ripley's Believe It or Not. We just hung out and drank on the beach, which is legal in Panama City. And you can't beat that. That's about as relaxing as you could get.
The Gulf Coast burgers was really good with that shake. Mm-hmm. That was a sugar high.
Yes, that was really good. Wonderful classic mini golf course there, like completely out of like the 1950s. And that was a lot of fun over there. And then we moved over to Destin, which is, I would say, a little bit more adult, a little bit more mature destination, but still had some fun stuff. We went to that. Where did we go? There was a weird restaurant with all the alligators. Fud Puckers.
Yeah, something like that.
And that was very, very different. When you're waiting for your table, there's hundreds of alligators you could feed if you wanted to. And that's where we went to Crab Island.
Crab Island.
Crab Island, not actually an island. It is a giant sandbar in the middle of the bay, which is...
But you have to take a boat out there.
Yeah.
It's not like you can get in the ocean, swim over there. You have to take a boat.
Mm-hmm. And this was a very, very interesting drinking location, as everyone just parks their boats, hops out, and goes boozing.
Yeah, it was very, very different, that's for sure.
And there's there's giant stores that float out and set up shop, so you can go buy a cheeseburger or ice cream or peanut. Then there was boats that'll be selling floating around selling stuff like they're similar to like an ice cream man. And there's people playing music. There's people chilling out. It was something.
And people of all ages too. You had kids, you had families, you had older people, all ages.
Yeah, so that was kind of Destin, Florida. Then we moved our way up. We went up through Alabama for what was easily my favorite video of the entire year.
I am never driving through a drive-through safari ever again where you can feed the animals. Nope. That buffalo sticking his head through the window. I think there is still pellets in your car that we're still finding, and that buffalo stank.
Yes. Something I learned in the year of 2020. Buffaloes smell terribly. But that was easily, by far, my favorite video we filmed on the adventure. On the entire year, easily.
Yeah. I mean, it was great content, that's for sure.
I was just not used to, because normally you go to those things and you could never feed the animals. Like growing up, and you go to, for me, I was growing up in Six Flags in New Jersey. You could never feed the animals. You could never have your windows open. And here it was the complete opposite. Where yep, they could come in your car. You could have a zebra come in your car, an ostrich, not friendly, come in your car.
Yeah, it was very different, that's for sure.
After that, we made our way up. We did Alabama Adventure.
We camped, didn't we? First? Oh, no.
That was after Alabama Adventure.
Okay.
So we went to Alabama Adventure, which is another one of those theme parks, kind of in a weird spot, and I just never got there. But they were open, so we went. And Rampage was a lot of fun. That coaster definitely kind of lives up to light, but maybe a little bit below. And the water park was fun. But probably not a park I need to rush back to anytime ever.
Agreed.
From there, where do we... After that was our camping night.
That was our camping night, yeah.
We made the decision, all right, this is a road trip. We need to save some money, so we bought camping gear, and we're going to camp a couple times. Well, we ended up camping once. Camping in the summer is kind of rough.
Yeah, whoever made that decision, that was a dumb decision on our part. Camping in the middle of June with no air conditioning in the South. Don't recommend it, but it was fun. We got some hot dogs, and we grilled some hot dogs by the fire. We were the only people at the campsite.
Apparently other people knew better.
Right? Other people were smarter, not us. But it was a very different experience. And now we have camping gear for maybe next fall.
Yeah. And after that, we made our way up towards Memphis, I believe. And we went to the Memphis Zoo, which is another one of those zoos you hear a lot about.
Oh, the panda bears. And that was one... That zoo surprised me. It was definitely, again, one of the top 5 zoos in the country. Some of the exhibits were really big, like the bear exhibit.
Yeah, I mean, they had a polar bear exhibit that was great, the grizzly bear exhibit that was amazing. You got some of these exhibits where the theming was on a Disney level of quality. Mm-hmm. Not the biggest zoo, though. That we were there for a little over 2 hours, as opposed to the Columbus Zoo, where we were there for 4 or 5.
Right. I remember it was raining and we were debating on going to the zoo or not, so we went to a brewery next door, waiting for the rain to subside. But
oh darn! Had to go to a brewery.
But I'm glad we did go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was a really, and we got to see the pandas eating, and pandas are awesome. All right, from there, I believe we continued our trek kind of west, and we went towards Arkansas, a new state for me. And we went to Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Which I love the town because it was a tourist town, but it wasn't a corporate tourist town.
Yeah.
So I loved exploring those types of town. I think that we need more of those small town American tourist towns. I love the brewery of how they use the hot springs to brew their beer.
Yeah. And it was a really cool town. We went to like a really nice German dinner
restaurant.
where we had, I think we did like I don't even know. I know I had a giant beer, and then I think we did a sampler.
Yeah. I think you had the giant beer and I did the sampler. We also got really good cupcakes at Fat Bottom Girls Cupcakes. Seen on Cupcake Wars.
You like Cupcake Wars. Yeah, and we went to a weird wax museum. A very strange wax museum that, man, that was a really weird. It was a lot of Jesus, a lot of politics, and a lot of fairy tales.
Yeah.
And all hasn't been updated in a long time.
Oh.
It was bizarre, and like a hall of torture. Like a lot of wax museums have like a horror theme segment where there's Freddy Krueger and Drayson. Nope, this was people being tortured.
It was odd, very odd.
The whole thing was weird, but yeah, that was a really fun little stop that day.
We went hiking too for very many walk, but we went hiking, which is very unusual for us.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite evenings. We kind of bar hopped around Hot Springs a little bit, and we went to a bar that had bar games. It had live music and a 3-month-old puppy that wandered around and wanted to be friends with me. He was so cute, but then he kept peeing on the floor and getting in trouble with the bartender, who was also the owner. The next day, I think we went to the national park there, and we went up to the Outlook, the tour. Which was cool. Lots of it's a very mountainous range. Mm-hmm. The main reason for going to Hot Springs was to go to the Magic Springs theme park. Got to ride the X coaster, which is the only one of its kind in the country, and it was just as weird as I figured it was going to be. I think the highlight for me of going to that theme park was probably the wooden coaster, which was nothing really to write home about there. But where it was positioned in the park, you get some awesome views of the mountains. And good to, trying to check another theme park off the list, especially one not super easy to get to all the way out there. And then we started, not heading back a little bit. We had a couple different ways we could go, and we decided to head towards Gatlinburg.
Well, I started getting called back to work, and I knew I had a start date, so we knew our adventure was coming to the end, so we knew we had to start. We needed to start heading back.
I know on the way back, we stopped back in Memphis because it was on the way, and we did some good stuff there. We went to the Pyramid, which was the former NBA arena, now the world's largest Bass Pro Shops.
I am disappointed that their Outlook was closed, but man, that was a place very different. It was a hotel, right? Mm-hmm. And we wandered around that for probably like an hour, just looking at everything.
Yeah, that was quite the place. While there, we did go to Beale Street as well, the famous drinking location. Obviously, not a lot was open on Beale Street. We had a couple of drinks. We went to Jerry the King Lawler, a famous professional wrestler. We went to his bar. And then we went to a bar that was famous for giant drinks. And they've got goats just hanging out. Like there's a goat enclosure at the bar. That's something I could say I haven't done before. Let's see. And then we I believe we made our way across. I don't think we really stopped and did too much more else.
We went to Nashville for a biscuit place. Well,
in the
brewery. What was it called? Loveless Cafe, I think it is. A really good biscuit place in Nashville. Oh, those biscuits are to die for.
And then on our way over towards Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, we had to stop in at Knoxville to see the famous Wig Sphere.
Again, closed.
But we got to see it. We couldn't go up and see the wigs. But much like Bart and all his buddies in that famous Simpsons episode, their road trip took them to Knoxville and see the Wig Sphere. So did ours. And then we had one of our longer times in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. I think we were there for 4 nights. Wanted to film some different video ideas for In the Loop. We were doing the hard work on this trip, like filming everything single moonshine distillery in the Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area.
It was very hard work.
Yes. So we filmed that video. We filmed a things to do in Pigeon Forge video, which was that one did take a lot of time.
Yes.
We got to eat some good food, buy way too much moonshine. Let's see. We also went tubing when we were there. We never gone tubing in Gatlinburg before, which was not something I would really recommend. I don't think that the tubing water is quite high enough, and you kept getting stuck.
Yeah, we went on the smaller adventure and I wouldn't recommend it. We had to get out. I think your flip-flop tour, I refused to go without water shoes, so I bought water shoes. But your flip-flop tour, and you were walking on hard rocks with the river.
It was not the funnest of times I've ever had anywhere.
But, I mean, I would do it again, probably at a different river.
Yeah.
Time of year?
Other stuff we did that we've never done before, we went to the Crime Museum, which was, boy, is that a weird tourist attraction.
O.J. Simpson's car.
We got to see O.J. Simpson's Bronco and lots of rather depressing and upsetting imagery and artifacts.
Yeah, don't take the kids on that one.
No, and it's also like something, it's a weird thing for vacation. Like, all right, I'm here. I can't wait to have fun. Look, mountain coasters, mini golf, go-karts, upsetting stuff, lots of it. And it was, we also made our way all around, Pigeon Forge too, and went to see a lot of attractions that we would have never really seen before, like the indoor snow tubing adventure. Mm-hmm. And overall, it was a lot of fun. And then we kind of just made our way back. After that, I don't think we really stopped anywhere else, but that kind of did it. Overall, it was like, I believe it was 16 days we were out on this adventure, which is cool, because like, if you think about the rest of the trip, like the longest one was maybe 4 nights.
Yeah.
So it's not something we normally get to do, is take these really long trips, and also, again, like Molly talked about earlier, normally we kind of have like a pretty good structure of like, okay, we want to do this, this, and this, where that one, it was kind of like, well, let's see where we go.
Yeah.
Up if it rains, we could just stay an extra day somewhere. And having that flexibility and that to do something like that was really, really great. And that'll do it. That's kind of our countdown of those 2020 trips. I think it was interesting. I'll put them at the end, like Molly's list versus my list, and you'll be able to take a look and see like who put what in what order and that kind of thing. But yeah, we were both. It was probably pretty similar on most levels, and we both had the big road trip ranked number 1.
Obviously, because it's something that we never get to do.
No, and all right, and that'll do it for kind of this as we turn the page, going from 2020 to 2021, and you stop looking back on last year, start planning for next year. Molly, as we look forward to the next year, what's on your list? Do you have places that you want to go visit in 2021?
Well, Las Vegas was supposed to be this year, so I would love to go back to Las Vegas again.
I definitely want to see. They have their Meow Wolf opens in, I believe, February. So I definitely want to go and check out Las Vegas as well. For me, I definitely want to get back to Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Haven't been up there in a good number of years. Pantheon looks like a great roller coaster. And Kings Dominion, haven't been there in a while either. So I want to go ride Twisted Timbers. And then, it's kind of weird because there's not a lot of like big major like marquee rides. Like, oh, you've got to go there and ride that. Especially with, us being so lucky here in the Orlando area where we get Velocicoaster and Iron Gwazi opening right down the block. If Jersey Devil opens, I want to go check that out over in New Jersey, as well as the American Dream, the Mega Mall roller coaster stuff. I want to do that. If Canada opens, I would like to get back to Montreal. I haven't been up there in a while. Do that because we had a trip booked for Montreal and Lake George, and obviously it didn't happen. You can't get to Canada.
That was sad because I've never been up there.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a short list. I'm sure we'll do considerably more than that, but that's on the. I want to get back to Universal Studios Hollywood. I haven't been there in a long time.
That was on our plan too, to go back to California.
And I want to go back there and see that Secret Life of Pets dark ride and the Jurassic World ride. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for letting us reminisce here about the year that was, and hopefully the new year treats us all well as we come up on it. And let us know in the comment section. If you're watching this far into this, you probably watched a fair number of these In the Loop videos. What were some of your favorites on the year, and where do you want to see us go in the new year of 2021?
Buffaloes are stinky.
And buffaloes are stinky. Never forget that. Thanks for watching, everyone.